stay tuned after this to watch the trailer for our new docuseries, Traveling Solo.
Hello, my name is Mia, and this is my 2011 Ford Transit Connect. So this is my kitchen and living space. Up here I have all of the books that I take with me on the road, and then an extra box of toiletries. Then I have all of my things for coffee and tea, my French press, coffee grinder for the morning coffee. Working my way down, we have a little bit more extra storage for food up here. I also added in these mason jars because there's windows all the way around. There's nowhere that I can have like a wall of shelving, and I wanted to be able to see out of the van all the time. And then I also added this mesh net for my fruit so that I could have all my fruit and veggies and that they're not falling off the shelves when I drive. And then I also added these little boxes and taped those onto the side with some extra strong tape. And up here I keep my soap, hand sanitizer, noon tabs, and my speaker for when I'm playing music. So this is my little Coleman cook stove, and I cook all my meals with this. And I use my cast iron. Often when I'm on the road, I cook a lot of rice and bean dishes, burritos, eggs in the morning. I also love my morning coffee, so that's an every morning thing. So down here below everything, I have all of my dry storage, most of my cans, cooking spices and whatnot. And then over here I have rice, tortillas, I keep pastas and oatmeal down in this box. In the back I have my Yeti cooler. Normally I don't have like frozen items or meat or cheese, any dairy in here, just because I can't keep that really cold. Yeah, I love the way that this is set up. So I did build in this extra shelf down here so that I could have the multiple layers of storage, but this came to me like this and I absolutely love it. I put in all of the extra storage though, so I organized it with these little boxes so things don't come flying off the shelf when I drive. And then so also down here I store my little shower. This is a USB powered pump that I can recharge, and I connect it to the hose in the shower, and I hang this outside my doors so that I can shower when I'm outside camping for multiple days in a row. So this is my Jackery 500, and it's powered by solar. I can also charge it while I'm driving. Normally I just use solar, and I use it to power my phone. The lights up here are all chargeable USB lights. I also use it when I'm working on my computer in here and doing work online. So these are my Tibetan prayer flags that I have hanging in the back. Each one symbolizes a different element of the earth, and I like to have these here to remind me to kind of have more of like a free-flowing and connection to the outdoors and community. They like to blow in the wind, and I like to have that as a reminder to myself of staying open to the wind. This is my whole hat collection. They keep multiplying. I have one from my home state of Oregon, one for running, couple from the place that I worked last, and my favorite hat, Moore, Montana, from the Nature Conservancy. So I chose to live in a small van because first of all, I wanted to have a more sustainable lifestyle. I wanted to be more conscientious about how I was living, and also I realized I didn't need as much space as I thought I did inside a living, like a home. I also wanted to be closer to the earth and have more connection to both the community of people around me and the physical world around me. So having a smaller like home living situation allows me to be in the outdoors more. So this means in the sun, snow, rain, I get to be outside. It also connects me to people more. I create more of a community just because I rely on other people a lot of the time just to create connections and community and form bonds. I feel like I meet so many people everywhere that I go, and people that have a similar lifestyle or have had similar experiences. When I was in a home for a little bit, or when I rent houses, like when I was in college, I felt like I was confined to a certain amount of friends, people that lived in the house. And when I'm in the van, I feel more freedom to roam around, meet new people, talk to new people. A lot of people come and talk to me and ask me questions, and I love to share my story about the van my van life and why I chose this kind of a lifestyle. It also is like much more sustainable. I have gotten rid of a lot of things that I used to own that I didn't need. You don't need 7 different dresses when you're traveling in a van. I have one dress that I absolutely love. And it's just like a simpler lifestyle for me. I don't need all of the different things, so I'm not always shuffling things around in my house or trying to clean up. The van allows me to keep things minimal, keep things sustainable. I have less trash, I use way less water and things like that that make me feel like I'm giving back to the earth and connected to the community of people around me, the physical world, and everything else. All right, so this is my bed area. Up here I have some of my photos to remind me of the places that I've traveled and the adventures that I've had. Next, I have this scarf that's actually a map of Canyonlands National Park. And I like this so that I can put it over the windows when it's bright and sunny. All right, so up here I also have my calendar, and I love these little magnets that have a clip on them. The whole inside of the van, the doors are all magnetic, so having these clips for all of my little doodads makes it so much easier to clip them up and out of the way. Next, this is Kevin, my little koala. He's traveled with me for many years, and he's a little beanbag stuffed animal, so you can microwave him and then he'll stay warm and keep you warm in bed when it's cold. These are my back cushions that I can put down over here when I pull the bed all the way out. The bed does have slats that pull all the way across to the other side, and then I can have a full bed. But normally I just sleep on this little side when it's just myself in the van. Underneath the bed, I have all of my clothing storage, my tops, my pants, socks and underwear, athletic clothing, and then extra jackets and overalls and dresses. This is all of my fancy attire in here. After that, I have my down puffy is right under here, and all of my shoes are in this bin back here. I also keep up here on command hooks my headlamp, my little jaw harp for music, and a bit of safety. This you can like pull it and it'll start screeching. So I keep this in my van as a safety device when I'm camping in the backwoods or anywhere, I guess. And then up here at the top, I have some more photos. These are all photos of my adventures in Utah, Colorado, and Montana. Up at the very top, I have this world map that I love to keep above my head when I sleep. Reminds me to explore and wander. And then next, up here, I have a curtain that pulls down. I use this for privacy and also to kind of climate control this back area. Keeps the sun and the heat out of the front. And there's Velcro across these sides, so they just Velcro in. And then magnets sewn into the cloth right here. And those can clip on the door. And then this pulls all the way across the front. Also up here, I keep the front blinds and the Reflectix with the black on the back. There are also magnets sewn into the edges of these, so when I put them on the windows, they stick to the windows. Over on this side of the van, I have my little toiletries organizer, and I like to keep all of my toiletries that I need daily in here so that I can easily go on little adventures or stay at friends' houses. All I need is this, and then I'm good to go for a couple of nights outside of my van. So this is my fanny pack, and I keep this up at the front of the van so that I can reach it from the front when I'm driving. It just is to keep a couple of small things organized and within reach from anywhere. Then beneath my fanny pack, I keep my state maps. I have a couple Utah and Oregon, and I love these because when I'm on the road, I can open them up and look at what roads I want to go on, where I want to explore, what I want to do. My passion, what I've been studying for the past 4 years, is geology and environmental chemistry. I've been studying geology just because I wanted to learn more about the physical earth around me and the rocks and how humans interact with the physical world around us. So I ended up trending towards environmental chemistry in the past 2 years, and this is because I really got interested in humans and our connection to our waterways and our groundwater, the air around us, and how we pollute or maybe degrade these different things in the environment, and how sometimes these things cannot be reversed. So that really like sparked my interest in van life and the smaller living situation. And I feel like they both just build on one another. So I have the small van life, it's sustainable, and it goes hand in hand with my studies. I am going to New Zealand in a couple of weeks. I am continuing my studies in geology and environmental chemistry in Christchurch, New Zealand. And I will be studying the geology there, doing a lot of field mapping and field work, and then doing some courses at the university about geology and about environmental studies. And also, I'm going to be looking at the way that they do things differently in New Zealand. I'm interested in learning about how other cultures and communities view our Earth, view our planet, and create this sustainable connection to the Earth. I think that we need to switch our concept of what the Earth is to us, that it's a give and take, and we need to give gifts to the Earth and give back to the Earth as much as we take from it or more. And I'm really excited to go to New Zealand to see how they do this, or just look at how another culture interacts with the world around them. So up here in the front cab of my van, I keep my Lucy lights in the dashboard so that they charge when I'm driving around or just sitting. And these are little solar powered lights. They last quite a few hours, and these are like lovely little lights for hanging around camp, setting in a circle when you're hanging out with friends. And they just charge in the very front of my van. I also keep up here geology textbooks and my roadside geology book so that when I'm driving through a region, I can look at the geology of the area. In addition, in the front of my van, I also have my day pack for adventures, easily accessible, so I can just grab it when I'm hopping out of the van. I also down here have my groover. This is what I use as a toilet in emergency situations, and I keep wag bags in there. I don't love to use this, I've only used it a couple of times, but I keep it around for emergency situations. Also, I have my hat in the front, and then a little tray of all of the gifts that I've received as I'm traveling, either from friends, people that I've met on the road, or from the Earth. All right, so on the outside of my van, we have this ladder that was installed, and I use this to access the things that I've put on the top. Up on the top, I made a roof rack out of aluminum pieces that I got at a construction company around town. Yeah, I'm pretty accustomed to building things, so the roof rack was a really good challenge. I hadn't worked with metal before, I'd mostly done woodworking, so I did have to get a metal drill bit, but other than that, I had everything that I needed to get it done. I did get the pieces custom cut at the construction place that I was at, but other than that, I really enjoyed the challenge of trying something new and getting it up there. Up at the top, I have mounted my extra spare tire, full-size spare tire that I keep with me, and then my rocket box. And in my rocket box, I keep anything that doesn't fit in my van. So this includes a lot of wintertime gear for the off-season, summertime gear when it's in the winter. Also has a lot of my climbing gear and other backpacking gear up there. So in the back of the van, when my doors are open, you can see I have a couple little dry hanging plants that I keep with me. My geologic timescale, mini size one, some photos. And then on the other side, I have a couple of washcloths and a cooler cloth that I use. These are kind of like a feminine hygiene product that you can use to wipe instead of using toilet paper every time you go outside. They're antimicrobial and waterproof on one side. I also down here have a little blanket that I use when I'm laying down in the grass outside of my van, and I like to have this accessible in the back door. And then over on this side, I have a little bit of storage under my bed in the very back, and it runs all the way up to the front of the bed. Back here, I keep my Nordic skis for when I Nordic ski race, keep my downhill skis as well for when I go ski touring. And then I also have my fire staff for when I spin, and white gas fuel for when I spin fire. This vehicle has windows all the way around the back, and the ones in the back are tinted out, so I have a little bit more privacy when I'm traveling around, and it's not so easy to see into the van from the outside. These doors also hinge out all the way. You can press this little button and the doors open all the way out, and that's really nice for being able to get in and out of the van and hang out in this space behind the van. This van also is a little bit unique in that it used to be a handicap accessible taxi van. So this in the back used to be a ramp that could come all the way down. And so I do have an extra 6 inches of space in my floor, which is a lot when you have a small living space. And the back bumper has been welded back up into the van, so it no longer can be used as a ramp. biggest cons to living on the road is the unpredictability that you have. There are certain things that happen that are out of your control, things like the van breaks down or getting lost, being out of service for long periods of time. There are things that I cannot control that happen to me, and they often push me to grow, which is also one of the biggest pros of living in a van, is the unpredictability. But with the unpredictability comes more freedom. You have the freedom to roam around, to travel, to go to new places and meet new people. Switching back to the con, this means that sometimes your van breaks down. But I have learned to fix so many things on cars because of this. I've done a lot of different things to my van to make sure it keeps running well. And I also have this kind of relationship almost to my van and all of the mechanics in my van. I know when my van isn't doing well, what it needs, almost immediately, just because this van is my home and is my everything. Another aspect of this lifestyle is that you learn to rely on yourself. Oftentimes I'm alone or traveling solo, and that gives me time to think and to meditate, to figure out how to breathe and self-regulate my body. And that has taught me more than anything ever will. Getting outside of a city, getting outside of the noise and hustle and bustle of society, pushing you forward, telling you you always have to be productive. It's okay to relax and take it slow. Make your morning coffee slowly and lay in the park for a little bit. You do not need to jump on the treadmill of productivity and keep succumbing to that. All right, so if you're interested in following my travels, I do have an Instagram, Mia Addy, and I also keep a blog about my travels and van life and solo female van life. And that is also Mia Addy, and there will be links in the description below. Thank you so much for joining me today in this van tour, and I hope to see you on the road.
Just do it. Come on, girl. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Yes, 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 yes. It's just water. It's just water. It's just beautiful water. 1, 2, 3.
It was one of those things that I felt a calling to do, and I just kept putting it off because it's not how you're supposed to do things, right? It's weird, it's different, and it turns out that that's exactly what I need to be happy.
Kids in a bus, solo female, no male or whatever, people think that's crazy or dangerous or weird.
I just got sick of the city life. I was tired of every weekend being what's the best brunch spot, let's go to the new bars, and wanted to find a way to get back out in nature.
I think there's a lot of fear based around traveling, especially around women solo traveling, but it's really not that scary.
In the beginning, the first 6 months, this whole lifestyle was just adrenaline driven. Everything was new, it was an adventure. I wanted to go everywhere, see everywhere, but there's definitely moments where I'm like, where do I go next?
I've had to push through a lot of self-doubt, and I've had to quiet that inner critic a lot.
Whatever problem I'm facing, somebody else has gotten through this is temporary, I can find a way through this. I like to find peace in that sometimes.
lot stronger as an individual, knowing that I can work through things that come up that I maybe didn't think that I could have done before.
It's the community really that has helped me to heal a lot of the stuff that I set out to heal.
I had decided to go to this van meetup, which I haven't done a lot of. It's actually one of the best groups of people that I've met.
There are friends and community and a tribe that are just out here to greet you. I get the itch to move now. It's like, okay, on to the next adventure. Here we go. I'm addicted. I love this lifestyle. I'm a permanent nomad now.
I want to look back and be proud of who I was and how I interacted with people. I want to be proud of how I treated people, but I also want to be proud of the decisions that I made for myself.
I've always gone by Tori my whole life, and on this trip I became Victoria. It almost goes along with like becoming a new, different person out here.